Welcome to Beading with Machi Wapakwenyu. I'm your host, Lydia Sturby. Hello, today we're going to be working on orange feather fringe earrings right in time for Truth and Reconciliation Day. So in your kit, you would receive a baggie with beads, bobbin with some string, little heart-shaped wax in case your string frays. You'll have two hypoallergenic earrings with ends on them. A long needle and two wire guards. They're a little hard to see. Okay, so to get started, I like to just sub my beads out. You can kind of see what it is you're working with. And you're going to take a piece of string and usually go from the middle of my finger all the way, stretch my arm out all the way to the opposite shoulder. And that's usually a good length for beading with, because you don't want to be too long. Otherwise it's going to cause you shoulder issues, and if it's too short, then you're going to be changing your string too often. For this pattern, I like to start with a double row of the ladder stitch, which on the pattern is all done in black. So we're going to do 11 rungs across our ladder. To do our first one, we're actually going to pick up the first 4 black beads. And if you slide them all the way down, leave yourself a little bit at the end so you're not going to come apart, but don't put a knot, otherwise you're not going to be able to hide it easily. And if you go back through those 4 beads and pull it, you might have to finagle it, but you eventually want them to kind of sit side by side like this. And as we start adding our brick stitches above, they'll start to lay a little bit flatter for you. So that is actually our first 2 rungs. So now going forward, we're just going to grab 2 at a time. Because I'm coming out the bottom here, I always want to say we're going to chase our tail. So we're going to go from top to bottom. And we're making this loop here. Now if I hold those and kind of pull tight, it'll help put them where I want them. But as you can tell right now, I'm still coming out the bottom here. Through the middle one. So we have to come back up the 2 beads we just put on so that we'll be able to add more beads, because if we were to add them while they were coming out the middle one, it wouldn't work because you'd be adding kind of up or below. So now my tail's still coming out the bottom, but my string is coming out the top of the 3rd set, the 3rd rung. And so essentially we're making these loops, and you're going to figure 8 through your rungs as you're going. You can always add your next rung on once you're coming out the last one. So because I'm coming out the top, I'm going to go from bottom to top and chase that tail, pull it tight, and come back down those 2 that I just put on to make it a full circle. Okay, so we're at 4. You're going to get 8. I believe I said 8, but actually I meant to say 11. So I've actually done all 11 of my rungs now. So we're going to continue on, and we're going to start building our way up, doing our brick stitch now. So we finished our ladder stitch, we're going to do our brick stitch. We're going to do that by picking up our first orange bead And there's these strings in between each of these beads that we've now created. So you're going to pick up the farthest right string, and that, without going back under it, you can see I'm still, let's see if we can get it nice and clear for you, but we're still under there. And I'm going to come back up through the orange bead. So it kind of makes this like N shape. It's capital N. Down, up, down. And you're going to pull. And what that's going to do is it's going to force that bead to kind of lay flat. And we call it a brick stitch because they're between each set, just like how bricks are offset. So you're going to continue following the pattern that way. So the next one is white, and I'm going to pick up the next one. Oops. And I pulled it, and now I'm going to come back up underneath that one to make it sit flat like a donut on a plate. Your next one is yellow. And you're just going to continue this until you get to the very end of the row. And then as you come out your last bead, you're going to just continue coming all the way back, doing brick stitch back and forth until you get up to those two top orange ones. So I've made it all the way across. Now I'm going to start working my way up here. So the next one in my brick stitch where we kind of come over is this orange. So I've put on my orange and gone through the string between the orange and the white one. And there we go. So I'm going to continue doing that all the way back and forth till I get to that last row of two orange. Okay, so now I've done my whole top piece right up to the very top two orange ones side by side. So this is the time where I would add on my wire guard. So you'll notice that your wire guard has, it's kind of like a horseshoe shape, and each side has this little spot so where your needle will fit through. So put it through one side, let it slide down, and come back down the other side of the wire guard through that second top bead and pull that through. Now you're going to want to make sure that your string actually sits inside the top part of the horseshoe. See how mine has kind of come across here? I'm just going to loosen it and try that again. Okay, and then I kind of pull it tight, and I'm going to go back through the bead on the left and the first side of my horseshoe, and down the second side again, just to make it a little bit more secure. So now to finish off this part of the earring, I'm going to come through this white bead. It's between the two orange ones. And then come down another one next to it. So add a diagonal, right? Because we're in the middle of a brick stitch. So I came 1, 2, and I'm going to go up 3, 4, and then back down those same 2 white ones. So I just went up those 2 orange on the outside. And back down the 2 same white ones I just went through that first time, to just basically we're making a big circle through. Okay, and then once you pull that through, I have hand lotion on my hands. Once you pull it through, you are good to just come as close as you can and cut off whatever string is left over. Now this is the tail from when we first started, so I'm going to do the same kind of thing, but I'm going to get it out of the ladder stitch. So I'm going to pull these ones up through that second ladder stitch, and then I'm going to do the same kind of circle around through some beads here. So I'll go up those 2 white ones, and then we can come down some yellow and do a full circle in there before we cut it. Okay, so I'm going to cut it now, and then I'm ready to start my fringe now. So for my fringe, I like to do a little bit of a longer piece of string so that I don't have to replace my string as quickly throughout, but you use what you are comfortable with. So just like when we ended off our string for the top part, we're going to kind of do the same to add in string. We'll come up a couple, down a couple, and work our way around till we come out one of the far ends so that our string is secure and it won't just come out if something tugs on our fringe. Okay, so now I'm coming out this very bottom piece here at the edge. So now I'm going to put all the colors on at once for that very first fringe to get that done. And so that's going to be 34 of the orange, and then one of each of the other colors, and then 3 more orange, and I will show you how to do the bottom piece to get the little diamond when I get there. So 34 orange, 1 white, 1 yellow, 1 red, 1 blue, then 3 more orange, and we'll show you how to close it off. Okay, so I've got all of my beads on here, my 34 orange, 1 white, 1 yellow, red, 1 tealy blue, and then 3 orange. So I'm going to slide my 3 orange a little bit away, and then I'm going to go up all those beads all at once again. Might have to do it in a couple pieces, but what this is going to do is it's going to actually make those 3 orange ones at the bottom sit kind of like a little triangle. And I'm going to go right back through the very first 2 beads of my ladder stitch, the black ones that we did at the very beginning. If I hold this middle orange one at the bottom here and kind of pull, see how now my 3 oranges are sitting kind of in a triangle here, and I'm all the way back up. Now I'm going to come down the second rung of my ladder. Now this pattern for this leg, or fringe I should say, is the double white, double black. So you're going to put all your beads on, ending with the 3 orange at the very bottom, and then those ones we're going to do the same thing. So for every fringe you put everything on, skip the last 3 orange ones to be able to go back up the rest, and that will leave these 3 to sit here like a triangle. You're going to do that till you get to the very end and then close it off. Okay, so now I'm just finishing up my last fringe here, and as I go all the way back up and through my black ladder stitch phase, I'm then going to tie it off just like I did with the upper half, and I'm going to make sure I go through beads kind of in like a circle motion or pattern so that it kind of locks in on itself and gets tightened in there before I cut it or burn it off. And then it's just a matter of adding the hook. So I'll be back with that shortly. Okay, I'm happy with my tension on all of my pieces. And so now we're just going to add the hook on. You'll notice that sometimes on one side you'll be able to see the strings a little bit more between each of the beads. So I'm going to use the other side. So all I have to do is take a pair of round nose pliers, open up the hook, put the wire guard in, and then tighten that. If you want it to be more secure, you could put like the smallest dollop of crazy glue just where the hook meets and then slide the little ball over top, and then it shouldn't ever come undone. And that is my orange feather fringe earring. Now you get to go make a whole second one. Thank you for joining me today. Miigwech, Marcy,